Hey friends, this is Rob Paisola, CEO and President of Western Capital. I have to tell you, if you have not heard about Anchor by Spotify, it is absolutely the easiest way to make a podcast. Look, we know the easy ways. With everything, all you need in one place, let me explain. Anchor has the tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or your computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many, many more. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. We appreciate the time you're taking to listen to our podcast. Thank you, and take advantage of something that's free. Jump on anchor.fm right now and get started broadcasting your voice around the world. God bless, my friends.
You're now listening to the world famous Change Your Mind, Change Your Mind, Change Your Life, Change Your Life podcast. Broadcasting worldwide with your host, Robert Paisola. Ladies and gentlemen, give way for Robert Paisola. Broadcasting on 107.1 on the Man Cave Podcasting Network and beaming worldwide on the Spectavision Satellite Radio Network live from Las Vegas. Today's episode is brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, featuring sleek luxury and pure elegance. Visit your local Mercedes-Benz dealer today and take advantage of exceptional deals for 2022. Bringing you the top news and guests from around the globe on finance, credit, life, or just how to fix that dent in your pocketbook from COVID-19. It's Robert Paisola.
How do you make a radio ad for an 8K TV that conveys the feeling of 33 million pixels with over 1 billion shades of color hitting your eyeballs? This is the best we can do. Samsung Neo QLED 8K, unreasonably good.
Your plans? Today it's dinner with the parents at your spot.
We gotta come back here.
Now, their spot. Or you're on the edge of your seat at the game.
Come on, just one time.
And it's the one. Or maybe you're catching the next flight to...
Now boarding flight 1850.
Oh, that's you. The choice is yours. And when you're with Amex, it's not if it's going to happen, but when. American Express. Don't live life without it.
Hey, ladies. Yeah, good afternoon. Hey, how you doing? I just got your ping. Thank you for that. I'm just dealing with a bunch of drama here in Las Vegas, but I just want to stop by and say hi and see how things are going. Love your topic, as always. What's happening?
Nothing much. What we're doing is we're just kind of doing a rundown. I'm just doing a brief synopsis of what I've covered already as far as starting from, searching for that name of that business on the Secretary of State, making sure it's available, then going ahead and bouncing over to the IRS, requesting your EIN and that name, right? Then popping over to your state website to be able to file those things for free. And I'm telling them, do not pay these companies to do these types of things.
Let me make one more comment, because you know how I do it. I just kind of throw in whatever I think, right? Is that okay?
Yeah, go for it.
Is that okay? Guys, one thing you got to realize is we have to look like a business. So if you're using Paisola7@gmail.com as your business address, you're automatically going to get declined. Okay, so you've got to have a website. So in association with building your name and building your brand, like I just bought one for my Airbnbs in Kona, Hawaii, and I bought KonaAirbnb.com. So what do I call it at the Secretary of State's office? I went and modified it to KonaAirbnb.com. I then modified it with the with the EIN, KonaAirbnb.com. So you have to have consistency with whatever you're doing. And then when you go to KonaAirbnb.com, it then pings back to build or Google My Business, right? And that's what your traction is going to happen, because that's when you start making mad money, guys, is whenever, and I'm sure that Me's told you about this, but whenever you're making money, you're not doing anything. People are looking at it like, wow, these guys got it together. That's part of the Business Credit 101. And that's why it's important we actually have a street address and we put ourselves, legitimately out there, because they're using coordinates now, as of a few weeks ago, on Google My Business that shows directly exactly what it is. So you want to be in like a high story building. right? You like, for instance, I'll tell you what we do. We're at 101. You guys can write this down and check it out to see how we do it. 101 Convention Center Drive, Las Vegas. That's my office address. Now, it's either that or I can go to a UPS store. So when you type in 101 Convention Center Drive, you're going to see massive, a huge infrastructure. And that's what you want American Express to see. That's what you want everybody to see, even your clients, guys. Okay? So what Mi's going to teach you, and I tell you this all the time, she's going to teach you 100 things that you have to do in order to build that business. And you know what? We can't build a fake business. You can't do that anymore. We have to build a business. And as we build that business, follow her steps. And if you follow everything, you're going to be just great. And then it goes to Dun & Bradstreet. And then there's people like my company. You know, I'm a financial institution. So we can actually report. Let me say this. I'll say this one time in this room. We can actually report on credit bureaus for businesses like EXPERIAN Business Credit and for Dun & Bradstreet. So keep that in mind, how valuable that is. Now, that's because I've been doing this for 17 years. And to some people, as they're popping in and out, they don't want to hear this kind of detail. They just want to hear, here, Rob, here's 10 grand, go take care of it, make it better for me. And you can't do that. And I don't think there's anybody on the stage who's a coach, consultant, a CEO, a mentor, who's going to let you just give them cash while you go right off in the sunset and then they build your business for you. Okay. One thing also, if we haven't talked about this yet today, guys, we want to think about building aged corporations. Okay. That's something we can do, which is kind of a shortcut. And I don't know what May's taught. So I'm going to sit back and listen for a while, but this whole thing is nothing more than a science. Yes, it is called Business Credit 101, but everything we do is done tactically. Everything we do is done so that we have the highest advantage of getting approved. And, you know, right now we're in a very difficult situation with the markets. You guys know that. The interest rates have gone up. They're trying to, the home ownerships, the homes that we were buying, numbers are going down. So anytime there is negativity, we look at it as positivity. Where is the positive things? What are the positive things we can do? And you'll notice in this room, I've been in rooms with 3,000 and 4,000 people. I love these rooms when there's like 10 people. I love them because that means people can understand and they're willing to just listen and they're not running around saying, I don't understand. So if you don't understand something, I say, please stop me and I will tell you. And all at the low price of nothing, just because I love you guys. Okay. And so I'll turn it back over to me and I'll jump in whenever I'm invited. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I appreciate you. And I'm sorry, I actually got a call, so I missed some of it. But I think what you were saying is great. What I was trying to tell them in the beginning is that you have to establish somewhere. So a lot of times, and I find with people who you're actually talking to, what ends up happening is they go and they get, this address from the UPS store. I even personally did it myself. You go, you get this address from the UPS store. You really don't get a lot of mail. To get an address from the UPS store, I think their very smallest is almost $300, right, for the year, right? And that's if you're paying, I think, in full, right? Not if you're paying monthly, right? So actually, I think you have to pay throughout the year. Matter of fact, I think I paid almost $300, like $280 something out the gate, right? Now, as a person, if you are a person, you are a minority, maybe you are disparaged, maybe you don't have a lot of startup money to begin with. Paying $300 for something like that is a lot. Then you have people who go and they want to get digital mailboxes. And then these digital mailboxes are about $50 a month, right? So I tell them, look, this is the beginning stage, right? There's no worry, there's no problem. You might have to have it be a home-based business in the beginning, right? But when you are in the scheme of things that you're in, Robert, when you're moving, right? After you've established your business credit and you want to go for those bigger things, I 100% agree with that. But this is after that first 90 days of establishment. This is not like off top.
Yeah, and let me say this, guys. Things she said about $300, if you're going to be a business, then you have to be a business. Let me be clear on this. The only exception is this. If you're in a 9-to-5 right now and you're trying to get out of the 9-to-5 and trying to put yourself in a position of being in a business, That's when I will accept your issue of I don't have any money. $300 is too much. Okay. Because if you're going to do this, this is deadly serious, and there are costs, there are fees, there are we have imaging. Imaging is so important, and that's done on the internet. Now, either you can do it on Fiverr, which you guys, if I'm talking, you guys might want to take some notes, and if me hasn't already touched this, we use Fiverr, Fiverr. They can help build websites. They can help build all your sub brands, which would be like all of your social media. All that stuff can be done, but you're going to have money. See, there's a real small break between the time you say, okay, I'm done with my 9 to 5 and I want to set up a business. You're going to have some capital to do this. Otherwise, what's going to happen is you're going to be like me, and just like I did, because what's funny is I started laughing. I did the same thing. I ended up in the UPS store, not knowing that UPS stores they're all dinged. You get dinged completely on them, right? So just remember, as a credit analyst, we look at a few things when people send applications in. A lot of times we want to make sure that it's a business. So we run the name of the business. So we want to look at when that business was set up. So keep that in mind, guys. Okay, Woodwood candles, beautiful. I love supporting small businesses. So we want to make sure that everything is exactly right, and that's why we have coaches and mentors, so you don't make a mistake. So that if you want to know what to do the next step, then that's fine. But the whole goal is to get you out of going to work every day and get you to spend that exact same amount of time. That's not a free pass, guys. That just means you get to redivert all your energy into something that's going to be built for you. Is anybody in that position right now where they're trying to make that happen? Maybe.
Definitely. Like it was something that I was saying personally as well. Like I have a day job. I rent cars through Turo. And I think I want to speak to the demographic where they literally are going to have to and I love the fact that you're bringing up the point that they have to prioritize, right?
Absolutely. And I won't interrupt you, but you're absolutely right, because in order to look like a business, guys, there's a few things you have to have, and write this down. Number one, you have to have a business phone number. I don't care who, and that costs very, very little. And you might want to go to, what do I use? Grasshopper.com. GRASSHOPPER.com. Okay. So if you want to see what we look like, if you want to see what Rob looks like as a business, dial 1-800-373-8913. And then you'll be like, holy crap, that's him. Yeah. That's all imaging. Okay. So you have to have a business phone number. And that list has a business phone number. And then you have to list it with a 411, and that'll take about 2 weeks. Then you have to have a business actual address. And then we'll talk about it in detail. You're going to get that EIN, which is your employer identification number. Now, listen carefully. When you get the EIN, you're going to have to come up with an NAICS code or a SIC code. That means what kind of business are you in? Now, if you put down that you run a pawn shop, or you run a strip club, or you run a casino, that's not going to work. So there are certain SIC codes and NAICS codes that we're going to use so we're not automatically underwritten in a negative way. And if you don't understand that, we can go into that later in a different time. But NAICS, and you can look that up. What are the best NAICS codes? Most of the ones that show consulting are good. Okay, consulting or banking. So that's important. And as me saying, I realize that not everybody is ready to start right now and go out and go through my checklist of 100 things. However, we have priorities, as she's saying, right? So if we only have so much, we do it. Then we move back to our job for a couple of weeks. Then we come back and we get a little more money. We do it again, and we do it until we eventually get it all done. Then you're making money. Now, I'll tell you guys something that's interesting, and I've made money. And I was in a room and I learned about this. Okay. You can make money selling books on the internet. Really, Rob? You can? You make money? Yeah. And you don't even have to write the books. Okay. They're books that people can buy, and you can modify the covers. Where let me be very, very clear. If you go to mycollector.org, and you type in books, I think you're going to see 3 or 4 books. 2 of them I wrote, 1 of them I pulled down. Okay. And I modified it. But there are sites where you can get books and you can go in and change them, right? And by the way, if you want to get the free book, just go to mycollector.org, and it's like 170 ways to be financially successful or something. And just use the code WEALTH, WEALTH, and it'll be free. That's if you want to get that. But you too can write books, and people will buy your books when you're sleeping, and you'll make money. Think about that, guys. How cool is that? You set the website then does it, and then all you do is you talk about it. Say you're on Clubhouse. You're talking to people, or they're like, oh, wow, okay, that's cool. Or they feel like they want to work with you. Wow. Yeah, I can't tell you how many times that's happened.
Rob, that's mycollectors.org, was it?
Yeah. It's my collector, C-O. I used to own a collection company. COLLECTOR, not collectors, mycollector.org. So mycollector.org, and then you're going to see a section where it says books.
Yeah, because Rob, I actually wrote a small book, so
yeah,
this is good for me. Thanks.
I can show you how to do that, bro. Where you can make money and you charge like $9 and it's just pure profit, you know. So and then go ahead and go through, just fill it out as if you're buying it, and then use the code WEALTH and it'll zero out the price. There'll be no charge. But see how important that is, guys? Like me, I'm sure me's been teaching you, but you want to get people to your site. You want to build that list. You want to be able to build people who follow you, especially if you have content that people are listening to, right? And that's what people do. That's what we do to help each other. There's not a lot of competition on here. We don't try to compete with each other. Some people do, but I choose not to. So anyway, what me's saying is just, take it piece by piece, and you're going to get it. You're going to get it. And then eventually, if you want to know, well, how did Rob do it? Well, obviously, guys, if you simply go to robertpaisola.com, my name, look at that, look how I'm doing that. And you can look at mycollector.org. You can look at that, and we own Airbnbs too. So I just got back from Hawaii 2 days ago. So that's the way you do it, guys. And there's no rush, no hurry, but you just can't miss steps. That's what I'm trying to say. Because as May said, I did the same thing. I was at UPS. I did the same darn thing. So you learn, you live and you learn, right, guys? Me?
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. And I think, and that's why I'm telling y'all in the beginning, it has to be a reputable address, right? You do not want to get into the habit of having to consistently switch your address, because every time you switch your address, you have to switch it with the IRS for your business information to jive and for you to be able to get approved for business credit, right? You cannot have your number, just like he's saying, your business number. You can't have your business number changing all the time as the days roll, because say you wanted to use a Google Voice number, or say you wanted to use this number, but you need to have a literal consistent business number. When you call someone, it should say the name of your business. When I call people from my business phone, it literally says the name of the business. People have to ask me, what is Love Enterprises? I don't know. What is that? I don't know. Who is this calling me, right? So that's what you want. And just like what he's saying is you have to establish yourself as a business. You have to breathe business. You just got to eat, sleep, shit. You got all that. It has to be business. And you have to know how to separate the two. And you still can separate the two using a home address. Make goals that are actually realistic for where you are, right? And so I'm speaking to the person where you're just getting started. These are the steps you have to take. Do not pay anyone to register your business. Do not pay anyone to do any of that for you. They're very simple steps. Your workforce website for your state will literally walk you through every single question of your articles of organization, every single one. And at the end of it, you'll literally click, this is what I pay for my state. It's $100. If you want to have a DBA, then maybe it's going to be $25, but that's it. There's no hidden fees. An EIN is free. All these different things. You don't want to get into the habit of trying to pay somebody because you feel like you're avoiding work. When really, as far as EIN and registering your business and getting your business license, it's really not a lot of work, right?
Yeah, and what you're saying is absolutely true, because, guys, listen carefully on this, okay? People on Clubhouse, a lot of people, are here to just churn and burn and make money. Okay, they just wanted to see, they want to put out a feeler and say, okay, well, how much money can I get from somebody to be able to think that I'm going to help them out? Okay, what does that do long term for relationships? Not a lot, right? So there are people like me in here that can help you, Miku, that are knowledgeable, and I don't think that she would be upset if you had a question for her, and she probably wouldn't charge anything to answer it. You know what I mean? That's what you want. You want people who you can trust, depend, and listen to, and know they're giving you the real value. Not somebody who's going to say, "Give me $5,000 and I'll set you up." Okay, so kind of keep that in mind. Know who your friends are, and that's why when you're in these rooms, you can tell who your friends are.
Yeah, and T, you had a couple questions. So when we're saying a PO box, okay, you need a physical address. Right? A business needs a physical address. You can have a PO box as a mailing address, but they're still going to turn around and ask you for a physical address. So it really makes no sense to pay for a PO box independent of you, unless, there's some type of, maybe you live in a neighborhood that's not the best, and you feel like there may be some compromise in your mail, or you're not going to get everything, or maybe your package is going to get stolen or something like that. That's literally the only reason why you would need a PO box. Right? And so we're saying straight out the gate, right? Because this first 90 days is going to be prime. That's why a lot of times I'll tell people, just like he's saying, it's not going to be zero money up front, right? But you literally could take, and I'm just kind of being conservative here, you could take $2,000, right? You could take $2,000 and you could say, and a lot of people don't have $2,000 off top, right? I'm saying $2,000 over the course of 90 days, right? So I gave you some net 30 accounts that you could start, right? You just got your EIN, you got your business registered, you got your business checking account, you're good to go, right? You have your articles of organization to be able to walk into the bank, get your bank account, you're good to go, right? So then you apply to some of those people, and again, some of them are going to have annual fees. Some of them may require a deposit from you because you are so new. That's why I try to tell people, the minute you get that EIN, don't go willy-nilly. Give it a week or two to hit the systems. And just like Robert was saying about that NAICS code, all that kind of stuff. What I would say is, number one, that DUNNs, right? Some of them, most net 30 accounts don't require that NAICS. And so I don't want to confuse y'all because that's more of that thing that comes after that 90 days is over with, right? Then we can kind of talk about what you're going to do with that NAICS code, right? But just like he's saying, typically with your NAICS code, right? A lot of things that has to do with whatever field of business that you may be in, you're going to put that in your articles of organization, and it's going to be registered with your state anyway, right? The NAICS code is like once you start getting towards the end of your tier 1s and start bumping into your tier 2s, right? So we'll talk about that after this first 90 days. And you do exactly what I told you. You get some of your net 30 accounts, you pay them on time, right? You may be able to get a gas card or something like that, but gas cards, like I say, that's more of like an end of tier 1, early tier 2 for you to be able to actually get approved for those without actually having to put deposits down, right? So with this $2,000 that I was talking about you're establishing your business checking account, right? You're making sure that you have money in there to be able to pay for your orders that you're going to place with these net 30 vendors, because they're not going to report until you start paying, right? They're just not. You can't say, just because you get approved for a $5,000 limit, it's not the same as with your personal credit where it starts reporting immediately. It starts reporting after you've been invoiced and you've actually paid that invoice. Go ahead, Robert.
Hey, what I want to do is I want everybody to get a pen, first of all. I'm going to give you guys a list of a few beginning credit accounts that you will be approved for. If you do everything she said, you will get these accounts. Tell me when you're ready.
This is the Change Your Mind, Change Your Life podcast. And this is your host, Robert Paisola.
I think they're good to go. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to type them in the chat while you're saying
Okay. Number one.
I didn't hear you, Rob.
I don't know. Well, I'm sorry. What'd you say, buddy?
No, I didn't hear you.
Okay. I want you guys to write these down because these are going to be your easy tier 1 accounts. If you do just what she said, set up the EIN, set up the basis for your business, these accounts you'll be able to get these really, really easy, and they'll be able to be your tier 1 accounts. The first one is going to be called Quill Office. Quill. They sell office supplies, furniture, electronics, and all type of things. It's a 30-day account, so you get invoiced, you pay it off within 30 days. I'd pay it off within 15, and they will report to the commercial credit bureaus. Okay, that's Quill. The next one is called Summa, Summa Office Supply. They're another 30-day lender. They sell folders, envelopes, labels, pens, pencils, but what they do is they give you the 30-day terms also, and they will report for you. Rob, I don't need 2 office supplies. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. The next one is called Crown Office Supplies. In addition to office supplies, they offer electronics, T-shirts. So if you have a T-shirt business, right, home goods, homeschool supplies, and more. Set up a net 30 account. You can financial purchases, pay them in 30 days, and keep in mind. With Crown, I think they have a down payment of 15% of whatever you buy. Okay, but that's important. Crown Office Supplies. The next one I want you guys to go to is Uline. Uline. Uline sells. Oh boy, if you package stuff and you're sending out boxes and you're sending out, you're creating labels, you're going to need Uline. Okay, they're the people that create all the boxes and all that. But it's net 30, and they do report.
Yeah, and Robert, I have some already posted. So Uline is one of the ones I have.
Oh, okay.
Posted.
I didn't know that. Okay, great.
And then
I'll learn from you. I'll learn from you.
And I have JJ Gold in the chat. I have Granger in the chat, and then I also have CEO Creative in the chat.
Okay, hold on a second. I want to know about CEO Creative because I've never heard of that. So bear with me a second. CEO. So that's how we all learn from each other. CEO Creative.
And I'm going to tell you something, Robert. I love them.
Sure.
They just designed my new logo. And when I tell you it was everything, it was everything. Okay, did they do what they said they were going to do for you? Oh my gosh, they went above and beyond. And it was only $299.
Okay, guys, well, that's a magical thing. Everybody here needs to go to write this down, guys, the CEO Creative.com. And you've just heard from somebody who's actually a client that spent the money that did it, right? And they've got, they do report. I'm looking at the site right now. So that, and then also Granger. Remember she talked about Granger? Granger is for like construction stuff. It's for construction companies. But you're always going to need an air conditioner. You're always going to need something. It's always good to have an account with Granger. Okay. And then if we do another room, I'll teach you guys the next level, which is it's going to be your Office Depot. It's going to be your Home Depot. It's going to be your Best Buy. It's going to be blah, 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 blah. But here's the awesome part about this. Did you guys know that it only takes 4 businesses that report on your credit profile to create a Paydex number? Let me say that again. It only takes 4 companies, right, to report on you to get a Paydex number. Well, Rob, what's a Paydex number? A Paydex number is what Dun & Bradstreet rates your company as. What is the number value of your company? Well, you're going to get 80 Paydex if you have 4 companies, and then you go as high as you can. And I will teach you sometime how to get $100,000 high credit. So what the goal of this is to get $100,000 high credit on your Paydex or on your Dun & Bradstreet with at least 4 references. Does everybody understand that? Somebody just click your mics if you understand, guys. Okay. So we understand why that's important. Okay. So just as I'm in here right now, I'm now learning about the CEO Creative. Okay. So that's killer. I love it. And then she threw out, there was one more you said about the gold company. What was that, my friend?
Yeah, JJ Gold is more like beauty products. So, bath, soaps. I got a facial, facial cleansers, vibrating things that's hot right now.
Well, I'm looking at it right now. JJ Gold. So there you go. Set that up. I mean, you gotta buy. It's got home and decor, eyewear, men's shop. Oh wow, okay, I got you. So this is great. This is great. So add this to your list, guys. We just gave you all the answers to start your business without having to pay any consultant or a high-end coach. Do you guys see how we just did that? If you guys do exactly what you just heard in the past 30 minutes, you're diamond. You're set. You're there. Now, what do you put on the application? We'll teach you about that. We're going to put on the application that we have a website. They can look at it. So we're not gonna do this. Like she said, so many people go and they get their number, then they want to run around and say, "Oh, I have it," but it just was given to them yesterday. And then they want to, you got to give it a little bit of time, and she'll teach you about that. Okay. But I'm learning just like she is. JJ Gold, hey, if they'll report, that's awesome. And then, guys, it gets big, because that's when you start playing in the big dog world. Once you get that $100,000 high credit line, that's when the money just flows. And that's where we come in. Okay. So good job, Nee. That's awesome. You've hit it right on the dot. And I hope you guys are taking notes, guys, or at least I don't even know if this is a replay, but I hope it is.
Yeah, the replay is definitely
Most of my clients I have. Oh, another one too. I just got this message. Another one guy is called A2B Auto, A2B gas card. So I just got they just gave my screen from them. I got $46,000 in gas card. The only thing is you got to pay it back every 7 days, and but the bottom line is it still shows 46,000 as a trade line. So it's A2TOB gas card. And they also cover like repairs on your car, things like that also. Now I'll tell you one final thing. I was given a credit line of $500,000 with Toyota Motor Credit, which is basically Lexus, because I did every single thing 5 years ago that I'm teaching you guys right now. Everything. I did it all. And I did it the minute I got the $500,000 was the minute I got the $100,000 high. What that means is that out of all my creditors, I had somebody reporting $100,000 as a high credit limit. That's a limit, not a usage, a limit. Does everybody understand that? Yeah. That's when you're in the fleet business, boys and girls. That's when you're talking big money. So you guys just got hooked up. What else do we miss? Anything else? Me?
No, and I would say this, and I think that this literally was the 101, right? I think a lot of the things that you're talking about as far as like, just like you're talking about getting those higher balances and stuff like that with no PG. And again, we talked about personal guarantee. That's what PG means, right? P is in pet, G is in go. A lot of these cards on your next level, if you're doing them prematurely, are going to require for you to PG. You want to avoid PG at all costs. If at all costs.
Well, let's talk about that. Do you guys understand why we want to avoid PG? Does anybody have an idea why we want to avoid PG?
Because I mean, you have to pay for it. Liability.
Theoretically, but what we're trying to do is we're trying to establish a business that stands on a pillar by itself, right? In other words, we're not trying to start up Mary's Home Care and you get down in your basement and you're cutting hair. We're not doing that. We're trying to set up a business where it's actually a full-on offset of us. It has nothing to do with us, right? That's why. So we do not that's why I tell people never, ever, ever go sole proprietorship. Never, ever, ever, use your Social Security number unless you have to, or unless your coach says to. Because there's a lot of stuff we get information every day from different companies and people. And by the way, I own a business credit company called WCI Bank, WCIBank.com. And that's for later on whenever you guys, get yourself set up, you can just contact me. be sure to add me or whatever, and then, ping me into wherever you guys are at. And that's the bank that I own out of New York with my friends. So that's how awesome what we do is. We're basically giving you the underwriting guide to the stuff that we're looking at. You know what I mean?
Definitely. So, Robert, if you can, go ahead and follow me, because I want to be able to ping you. I'm not on here a lot.
Hold on, I thought I did. Oh, and I am me. I'm Mika. I'm here. Oh, there it is. Sorry, there it is.
No, okay. But I wanted to say, because I'm not on here very often.
Okay.
Literally, I'm only here because I'm doing this in honor of my pal, my bro. DRQ's birthday is today, and he told me, he said, Mika, you got to get on the app, you got to share what you know, you got to give this, you know what I'm saying, and please just do it in honor of my birthday. So, and
just remember, guys, not one person, you'll notice that in this room, has ever said, give us money. Think about that. All these rooms, everybody's saying, give us, give. We're not asking for anything. Why? Because the world works in a really crazy way. If you help people out, it always comes back, right? So when you're ready to do what you need to do, you're gonna be lined up, and you can care less, because there's only one solution, right? And you know that. By the way, I followed everybody on the stage, just so you guys know that, and I appreciate you all.
Yeah, so guys, so now we know, and just for those who are listening to the replays, please run it back, go all the way to the beginning. We got step by step for you to get established with your tier ones, okay? You say, what are tiers? Tiers are business credit. You have tiers 1 through 4, right? So this is your number one. This is your starting tier. This is what's getting you out of the gate and getting you established so that you can get some of those accounts that Robert is going to talk about the next time we come back, which is going to be those tier 2s, which are those Lowe's, commercial pro accounts, and different things like that you want to be able to get access to, but you have to lay the foundation. I'm going to tell you something. 90 days is nothing for your future credit and your future success. 90 days is nothing, okay? Because you can toil away at a job and not be getting anywhere, or you could be, whatever it is. To sit up there and take your time and be on top of your business credit for 90 days is nothing. So I would say this, right? A lot of times, if you are able to actually establish 2 businesses at once, if you got to go through that 90 days, you might as well go through that 90 days with 2. This is just a recommendation straight from me, right? If you have 2 different addresses, you might as well go through those 90 days, do Crown Supplies for business A, and then do Crown Supplies for business B. Do Uline for business A. Do Uline for business B. You see what I'm saying? Because you know exactly what you have to do. You're placing orders at the same time. You're accomplishing both at the same time, right? So now you have 2 businesses established and not just one. And a lot of, like for me, one of my businesses is for me, one of my businesses is for my kids, right? I have them working at any given one of them at any given time, but there's a specific one that I want them to be able to take over. So why not establish it at the same time as I'm establishing myself, right? Those are the gifts that you want to be able to give your children. In addition to establishing their own personal credit, right, by maybe adding into a credit card, so when they get 18, they got a 750, they're not starting, with a 0, right? Same way with businesses. I have good business credit. I want my children to have good business credit, right? So that's also a gift that you can give that's going to keep giving, right? And that's something that's going to outlive you. So I would say think about that too. But Robert, I'm pretty much done. I'm just, encouraging y'all, just see those 90 days through. That's the best thing I can say.
Well, what I want to do is just mention how they can get that book for free. So since we are taking notes, just simply go to mycollector, collector.org, and then you're going to go to the tab that says books. And then it's going to be the tab that says, I even forget the name of what I call it. Hang on. That's not very good. I'm so glad I learned about JJ today. JJ Gold, my collector, MY. I'll walk you right through it. Free stuff's always good, guys. Then you can see our site. This is our online. Oh, by the way, I got to teach you guys this, guys. If you're ever doing business with somebody, always document what you're doing and record everything. Okay. If it's not documented, it did not happen. Trust me. I've been in so many situations. Okay. So please just, if you have to go to Walmart and get a digital recorder and you're set. The book is, if you just go to the mycollector.org and then scroll down to the books, it's called Timeless Wealth and Wisdom. Go through, put your name in, it's at $9.95, and then just use the code WEALTH, WEALTH. That'll give you that, and then that'll get you on the mailing list so you'll be on it. And if you guys have any questions, you can call 1-800-373-8913. You can text me at 702-219-3624, or you can just follow us on here whenever we're back in the room. Yeah. So, because it's not as easy as we're making it sound, but if you follow what we say and do what we say, it's very, 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 very easy. Okay. And don't worry. Everybody goes through ups and downs on this. And what she's given you is some very, very, very valuable information, my friends. Does that help at all?
Very much so. I think they're digesting all this information because it's quite a bit. And I can remember joining my first business group and just being like, what are these things mean? And we're not even into the NAV yet. We're not even into the NAV or the
Yeah, and I didn't bring up NAV. You're right.
Right. That's coming. Right. That's
coming. All I'll tell you guys is my billing rate is $500 an hour. Okay. No, and so if you want somebody along with me who knows what's going on, I would make it a priority to be here to ask questions to get the top of the top. Okay, because we're not throwing anything at you that's wrong. Everything we've done is tested, tried, and proven. Okay, so our hands are not going to be out. We're simply here to give you information, and you can vet us very, 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 very easily. We've done everything we've done. For me, it's been 17 years. I've had ups and downs, but at the end of the day, it always works out. So we can talk about, there's so many things, guys, if you want to talk about, we can talk about Turo, we can talk about Airbnb, we can talk about trucking companies, we can talk about how to, set yourself up so you have financial cash flow. By the way, listen, if anybody ever mentions the word merchant cash advance, MCAs, always say no. Never, ever, 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 ever say yes to a merchant cash advance. It's a scam. You'll never want to do it. And finally, to conclude, you can go to my website, WCIbank.com. If you are already in a business and you want to borrow money, just send me a message on here, and I'll shepherd your application through our underwriting department and see if we can help you. Okay? It's exciting, guys. It's exciting, that's for sure.
It's definitely exciting. And I think what Robert is saying is, do be excited about this. Like it's work. But just like they say, anything worth having is you're not going to get easily, right? But this actually is something that is actually easier than you think. Like, it's literally staying on top of your orders, paying your invoices on time, getting through that 90 days, getting your Paydex score, getting your Equifax score, getting your you know what I'm saying? These things, they all are kind of working and jiving off of each other, right? And so you got a lot of free game here. I'm gonna recommend that you come back and you re-listen to this replay just so you can get anything you may have missed. Also, take down those net 30 accounts. If you see it in the chat, there's numbers, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we went all the way to 8. Those are all net 30 accounts. Those are accounts that more than likely they're going to approve you with no deposit down to be invoiced so that you can start building your business lines of credit. And then once you've paid your invoices for those 90 days, it's guaranteed that you are going to end up at the end of it with a Paydex score. But do not try to rush the process. A lot of people will pay their first invoice and then be checking their credit with NAV or something else and thinking like, oh, their Paydex score is going to be instantaneous. No. Be patient. Give it the 90 days before you start signing up for NAV any of their ones that are where they're actually showing you the scores, where you actually got to pay to access all your scores. Pace yourself, because if you don't pace yourself, you'll be paying for these. You'll just be paying needlessly because you're looking for scores that aren't there yet because you haven't given it enough time, right? So 90 days, that is the magic number. Go ahead, pay as you should, wait that 90 days, then go to some place. Now it's NAV. That's what we're talking about, is NAV, Credit Builder. It's basically NAV, right? So N is in Nancy, A is in Apple, V is in Victor, right? But I'm going to tell you, don't go there now. Go there after you've done these things for 90 days so that you can actually see how your scores are and see realistically what we can actually get you approved for, get you going, and not personally approved, but the things that you'll have the highest likelihood of getting approved for as far as your tier 2 accounts once you actually have those scores showing up.
Mia, I had a question for you. I'm looking at this CEO Creative. Is this something we want to suggest they do immediately, or do we want to wait a little bit until they do like the other ones?
I would say wait. Me personally, I actually got an invitation, but
okay.
JJ Gold, and that's what I had told them. See, that's what I'm telling them to re-listen. So I applied for JJ Gold, right? Got approved for JJ Gold. Then
what was your just if you don't mind me asking, how much was your credit line?
JJ Gold, I think it was like $2,500 maybe.
Okay, perfect.
So I think I went and again, I'm pretty sure that's what it is. I think, but I was never gonna spend that much anyway. But
yeah, of course.
So I think they approved me for $2,500, and then literally, CEO Creative sent me an invitation based on my approval for them. So that's what I would say. Start, and I'm glad you asked that question, Robert. I'm so glad you asked that, because I said that before. I said, try JJ Gold first. Make sure you get the approval from them. And then if you do qualify for CEO Creative, they're literally going to send you an invitation, I say within the next hour or so, once you actually get an approval from JJ Gold.
And I'll just make a comment, guys, that you will realize that some of these sites do require you to pay a small fee. But basically, let me say it like this. You're dealing with companies who are in the business to try to help you get your credit set up, okay? JJ Gold is not Walmart, who just doesn't care whether you pay cash or credit. They're there because they're going to actually report things. So keep in mind that if they charge a small fee, you can't just go nuts, okay? You're going to have to do that as you start out. Now, eventually, once you guys follow what we're doing and you get to the point where we're going to take you, then you're not paying for anything. I mean, I have an American Express Black Card. And if any of you guys know what that is, again, 17 years though, okay? So you guys can imagine how much money can go on that each month. But again, it's a monthly card, right? So keep that in mind, and I'll teach you exactly how to deal with American Express, by the way, too, okay? And if you have a problem with your personal credit, you want to really try to resolve those, and you can talk to one of us. You can reach out to one of us, and I put my information in the chat, and we can help you with that also, okay?
You've been listening to the world-famous Change Your Mind, Change Your Life podcast. We hope we've helped you get on the road to do both. Make sure to like, rate, and review the show. We'll be back soon, but in the meantime, hook up with us on Facebook, Clubhouse, Twitter, Spotify, Apple Podcasting, Google Podcasting, and Instagram at Rob_Paisola. Reach out to us by phone at 1-800-373-8913 and send your questions or comments to VIP@westerncapitalmedia.com. Until next time, this has been the world famous Change Your Mind, Change Your Life podcast.